And like that, another classic.
We're rolling, Johnny. What's the word?
What's up? Welcome back to the To Be Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, here, real.
It's Q.
And we back. Want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking us out. Please hit the notification button before we get rolling. Like, comment below, follow us on all social medias. That's at D2B Fair Show. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up, fellas?
Not too much. Another week, scandalous. No controversy on my jacket. How about you, Johnny?
Yeah, no, I'm uncanceled again for another week. So we back here.
How'd your sales go from last week?
Oh, it's the end of the month. It's just starting to get warm,
Oh, you got the jokes I was saying with the ball in your mouth with the Jones.
I thought you were talking about the dealership.
You talking about your OnlyFans package?
The toys, bro.
We seen that you had the special. It was like 20% off.
Yeah, Memorial Day joke, right?
Bundle. The bundle pack. It came with the rabbit and the the rose. What you call the thing that he put around his mouth?
Oh no, that's why he got the real name
for all the fallen soldiers special. So.
All right, well, fellas, y'all ready to get into this?
Yeah.
All right, fuck it.
This nigga Johnny is trash, bro.
I'm like on a 10-week streak, but I'm gonna run up. I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna make Red go first.
He ain't making shit.
And then Q second.
Make that nigga do it.
I got one for this week. Tone actually blessed me with one, and then I'm gonna give him the rest of my time on the memes this week. I'm gonna just do this one here.
BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy.
Is the track worth listening to?
The song with Sexy Red? I have no idea. I heard like the snippet on like Shade Room or something like that. Like he's rapping on the beat, then it drops into the BBL Drizzy, and he kind of like flips it into the idea that he be buying girls BBLs.
Okay,
it's a weird flex thing. Like,
just wear the L, bro, and let it go.
It's your first track back out.
Yeah, they said it. They said it's a weird flex. He's trying to reclaim BBL Drizzy like it's the N word.
Yeah, let it go, bro. Go ahead and run it, Tone.
Anthony Threes.
How old are you?
67 years old.
Oh no, that's good.
One thing you did when you were in your 20s that you regret that would change your life today.
I regret being a hoe. When I was in my 20s, I was a hoe.
What do you mean by that?
I was a hoe. I was doing a lot of women that I shouldn't have been doing, and I had a family that I could deal with. So I was just out there doing, anybody. Not like that, but I was just picking and choosing what I wanted and who I wanted.
You had to clear that up.
Because I had a little reputation here in Springfield, and that got me a lot of things, and especially a lot of women. And I regret using them and, regret using who I was.
Wow. So you would have not like smashed the women?
I wouldn't have smashed them like I did, no.
What would you would have did?
What would I would have done? Stay with my one son's mother and been married and been happy today. That's probably a regret that I've gotten over, but I would still be with her because I still have some great feelings for her in my heart, but I know how to navigate through that. But I wouldn't have been the hoe that I was back then.
So what made you be a hoe?
It was ingrained in me. My uncle was a hoe. My grandfather was a hoe. My brothers was hoes. My cousins was hoes. I'm sorry, it might not sound right. My mama was a hoe. I'm telling the truth.
All right, who I'm with?
Yikes.
Yeah. So I think that I feel like we all know what growing up with the man, or I guess man culture was, quote unquote, as we were growing up. And you know what I mean, that whether it was just in competition or whatever it was, we grew up in the era for sure where what do you call it? I guess it would be the term would be like womanizer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That was a part of our culture as we were growing up. And you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure everybody in this room is probably guilty. You know what I mean? but it's also, I believe it's also something that like, as like, I can only speak for myself in this regard. Like from me to my son, that wouldn't be what I teach him for sure. That definitely wouldn't be what I teach him. And then especially with like, you know what I mean, my elders, the men being on that same type of time, it's something that like, as I've grown older, it's something that like I kind of like just let it go. I think okay, so I got a question for y'all. Like, and this goes to, I was thinking about the Drizzy, the Drake shit, the Drake stuff, and you know what I mean. The idea of like, even in the beefs, everybody always talking about hitting dude, old lady. It's always a woman involved in beef most of the time, and I think that like, it's no longer cool to me. It's no longer cool to brag about having a whole bunch of women. Is it just me, or do y'all feel like it's because it's always been a cultural thing for men in our community? Is that still like a?
I think the easier it's become, like with the internet and stuff, the easier it's become, the less cool it's become.
I disagree.
A lot of women. I think back in the day, like it was a little more of a reputation, but I think nowadays you kind of get a little more to side eye because it's a more like a quality over quantity thing. Well, at least in the way I look at it now, I think it's a little more corny. The easier it's gotten. The same like with back in the day, like it's always easier for women, to get with men. So when they, get high body counts, it's looked down upon. If it's easy for a man to get a high body count, then running it up probably, not be in the best interest if it's that easy.
Yeah. I completely disagree because the entire influx of the red pill manosphere thing negates that. Like there's literally men that are selling men courses on how to get more women, and like pickup culture and all that.
But isn't that corny though?
And I mean, you've also said, and we've also agreed that a lot of the red pill conversation is cornball.
Oh, no, all right. So I guess, is it corny to me? Sure. I guess when you were saying it, I was looking at like, is it something as a society we've deemed corny all of a sudden? No.
Oh, no.
I think that like we're at an age bracket and maturity level where for us it does seem like it's corny. So I agree with that. But yeah, I don't think that as a society in any shape or form, I think it's truthfully more men that are arrestedly developed now at an older age because of the whole thing now is like you can be as old as like you can be 40 dating a young little girl. It's like 20, 25, and that's supposed to be socially acceptable. Like that's what the internet has been trying to tell niggas to do now. And I think it's corny, but that is a message that is fantasized by a lot of men now. And like there's a bunch of, well, it was recently a thing that went viral where it was like this masculine man that was trying to go he was trying to bully like a more traditional like Christian man. And he was basing all of his things off of these material things. Like, I got big muscles. I got the Bugatti outside. I got a bunch of money in my bank account. And the other guy was like, but are you happy? Like, are you still seeking, you know what I mean, all these different other things? I have a wife that I enjoy. I have a purpose in my life. I am happy as a man. Right. Like those things that don't really define me. And I think that those unfortunately are the minority of people. I think a lot of people are swayed by the idea of just the satiable things. To go to the video, I thought that the first thing was, I don't think that the person interviewing was ready for those answers that he was
definitely
giving.
Wasn't.
You could kind of see because he was kind of wanting to make a Badoom Ping thing. You could tell he was doing like the street interviews where he was trying to make something. And I thought that he gave that was a really, really good answer that the guy gave. And I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was really good. And I wanted to lastly hit on, it was something that you said that I've kind of thought about. And I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily want to give advice either way on it at the moment. And it was talking about, like you were talking about like your son and like pushing him to be whether it's like a player, quote unquote,
not a
pimp,
hoe,
if you may. But not or like be I don't know what you would say, like a one woman man from like a kid. Like I think that for me that's a tough one because I understand like both sides of that coin. Where
I understand you believe in the sow your oats while you're young thing.
I believe that naturally that's going to be something that's going to come out at a point regardless. And whether it's going to be like as he gets older, when you're younger, I do think that is something that like it's almost like as pure as human nature. Like it's hard to find a man that hasn't went through that phase. Maybe y'all could. It's four of us in here right now, and I guarantee you we all say the exact same thing. But I don't know any, like it's hard to find know of men that didn't go through a phase where.
Oh, I know one specifically that stands out.
But in the totality, you probably know more men that for actually.
Sure. But like I said, it was a part of the culture that was passed down to us. So we just accepted it as what men were supposed to do. And I feel like at this point, like we're getting to a place where fathers are present and we're in the presence to be able to teach things in a manner in which we would rather things go. Like,
so you think that's a fatherless home thing? Because I think that
no, I ain't saying it's a fatherless home thing. I'm just saying that I'm saying now. Especially if I think that the fatherless home does like default back to whatever the society is deeming the norm at the time, which was being a hoe. But I think that like when you have a father that is sitting here with a family that is married and he has the ability to teach his son in the household with, let's say he has a sister, he has his mom, and you would probably not, you know what I mean, push him towards it the way we were kind of pushed.
Well, that's the thing. I guess I wouldn't push. Like to me, the only relationship conversation I've really had with him was make sure that you're like a moral person, a person of character, and that whatever that you're doing, like you as a person can stand on that and feel good about that.
So do you not think that comes with being a youngin of character and something that you can stand on? Do you think
would I like him to
would be something you would say, yeah, stand on?
I think that's
you could stand on.
I think there's a lot of good people out here who may have had like infidelity issues
and I mean like it's a way of doing all things as well. Like truthfully, there is a way that you can kind of like do whatever. But my thing is just make sure that you're a man of character. Of course, does it lean more to me pushing him that way? Yes, and as in like being more I don't know what you like. I don't know the term would be. Like it's easy to say like as a whole as a guy, but we're talking about the other thing. I don't know what that word would be.
Not monogamous, but serial.
Yeah, I guess a serial monogamous young boy. Well, but I also don't think that that's like an appealing thing for a kid in which likely if you're pushing them to do that, they're going to rebel against that automatically. I don't think that would be the way to convince them to do that in general. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Well, we can move on. I'm going to let Tone have the next meme from here.
I was gonna take one anyway. But
you got OSHA.
Oh, I like that.
OSHA funny.
We gonna let him have it.
Oh yeah, Lil Duval shared this something. This is pretty good. So we'll go there.
So last night I had put some women's basketball on my parlay ticket, right? And it had me thinking like, do women really want that spotlight on them like that? You feel me? Like, I mean, I understand we living in the era of the women empowerment movement and stuff like that, but women's basketball, do y'all really want that spotlight on y'all like that? Because y'all gonna get treated just like the men.
Bitch, grab the ball! Oh my God, get this hoe out the game.
And we ain't trying to hear none of that respect the women mess, and we ain't trying to hear none of that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love women.
This tall ass hoe ain't grabbed damn rebound. Tall for nothing.
Stupid.
I'm just saying, if y'all want to be treated equal, then this what comes with the territory. So don't take it personal. It's just we be trying to get money.
Bitch, you is not hurt. Stop all that whining and get your Ernie Johnson looking ass back on defense. Damn.
But at the end of the day, it's just a sport, and people shouldn't be getting too out of character. Because like I was always told, if you can't stand to lose it, then don't bet it.
You bald head asshole, sorry as fuck.
So last night I had put some women's basketball.
Yeah, that was his though.
I'll go.
Oh no, I don't really have like
Okay,
an opinion on it.
Okay,
It didn't make me feel any.
No,
Yeah,
I
don't know.
his face ain't move a lick. Like,
I think you could tell he was uninterested.
I think it's funny because I mean it is a funny concept because I haven't bet on any women's games yet, but it is a funny concept because when you bet on stuff,
you're more like invested in it.
You're way more invested into it. So I mean the fact that like it's gonna cause some people to look at it more, and it's gonna be a lot of people that get mad at the Caitlin Clarks and the Jonquel Jones and the Asia Wilsons. They gonna catch some smoke too if they don't get them parlays right. So
yeah, but I think that's good for the game.
Oh, very, very much so.
Yeah, but I think it's a good like at the end of the day, do you want to face? Do you? Oh, they may want to.
More money. The more money,
yeah.
But
the more polarizing that you make a sport.
You like I seen I seen Gil and them. I think is Angel Reese. Is she like she's one of the popular ones, right?
Yeah, she came into the draft this year as well.
Okay, and she was like the idea. I think that like as a man, you kind of built with you getting the shit talked about you, and you know what I mean. You kind of built to have thicker skin just off naturally, just kind of the way that we move. I think that like they were talking about how she was responding to the criticism that she was getting, and something it was something her response. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was she was having emotional responses to the criticism, as you would see. You know what I mean? And there are some male hoopers that like your KD that kind of is a little more emotional as well. But I'm just saying like. Well, mass within that sport, do you think that like, and I think that you know the skin will get tougher over time.
Yeah, I think athletes in general are mad emotional. To be honest, I think it's rare that you find ones that's not. Like Anthony Edwards sticks out because he's not like he takes full accountability and he talks shit, and no matter what the good or bad of it is, he stands on it. But he's rare. Like you look at Dylan Brooks, biggest shit talker, but as soon as Bron and them put 40 on him, that nigga ain't want to interview. But you see that Jamal Murray was just doing that shit too. They got their ass kicked the first 2 games. He ain't want to talk to no media. He said, I'm avoiding media. But I think the Angel Reese one was its own little nuance because what she was talking about was a little different. And it came right after she lost. Like truthfully, I thought that she played the villain role amazing up until that last loss.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah. And
what makes the difference? Go ahead. You telling me what the difference is, right? That's what
the difference of what? I didn't hear what Johnny said.
He said, yeah, that does make a difference.
Oh, we talking about like I imagine he's talking about like her being emotional and doing that at the heel of like her losing, like her last game. But I mean, again, it's no different than what the Denver Nuggets coach just did when he lost too.
And I will say the Angel Reese, she was defending herself against like personal attacks, not necessarily.
Yeah,
like,
and I was about to build up to that.
Yeah,
part.
but they also do that too, like with LeBron hairline and fucking Kevin Durant head, and you know what I mean. Like you have to wear all of that. What you look like shit too.
But that's not a character assassination.
Yeah, you got to wear all of that. Like,
but they were trying to assassinate Angel Reese's character. Like she a bad person. Like she a hood. Like they were trying to paint her to be something more than something that she wasn't. I think that's
okay. And I mean, I use Angel Reese, and I don't follow. I don't follow the WNBA.
You didn't grab a rebound, or you got 3 rebounds. That's different than somebody talking about.
Right, but again, like, but also in a sense of, and this is why, like I said, I think it just kind of is what it is. It's par for the course, and I think, truthfully, both people kind of handle it the same. Kevin Durant, they talk shit, but he responds to a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's what
and like from the nicknames to XYZ, he be really ready to fight niggas.
Yeah.
But Westbrook, like you can go down the line of most people that do get ridiculed in public don't be fucking with it, and they be wanting to meet the person that be saying shit to them. Yeah, whether that's sports analysts or fans. With her though, this is the part I was gonna give a critique of it. Okay. But I think Johnny is also true that it became a conservative versus liberal talking point almost, in which the Caitlin Clark's, and it's almost split like that right now too. Caitlin Clark was for the good old boys, and the good old boys held her up, and then they used Angel Reese as the, you know what I mean, pretty much the nappy head black girl that's from the hood and does like ratchet shit. And so she got a lot of hate comments that's purely based racially. And like that is something, but I mean, truthfully, Caitlin Clark kind of does get a lot of the same hate. from the black community inside a very similar way. It's going both ways. But with Angel Reese, my one critique that I did have was the fact that she talked about being sexualized, but Angel Reese kind of sexualizes herself a lot.
What does that mean?
Yes, she did.
She'll wear like she went to the what's the big ball
gala?
Yeah, the Met Gala. But pretty much it was like very minimal clothing. I guess that's the easiest way to say.
Hey, you know the funny thing is I was going on the feminist movement side. So you're saying that if she wears a certain thing, then she's sexualizing herself.
I think that if your ass and your titties are out, you can't be mad if niggas say something or look at you inside like a sexual manner. Yeah. That's just human nature.
Yeah, no, that was funny because you might have to wear that one. I hope that come up in the clips because I'm posting his ass.
Oh.
No, man, I agree with you 100%. I agree. 100%.
I don't think I said anything controversial right there.
Yeah, they hate that.
I got one more real quick.
Go ahead.
Y'all take it where y'all want to go to.
Japan is not living in 2050. You just live in the United States of America.
She's right. China is not in the year of 2050, and neither is Japan. You just live in America. You see, we used to say the same thing. It became this repetitive thing when we went to other countries. Oh, wow, they don't have this in America. America doesn't have this. Or, man, where has this been my whole life? High-speed rail, affordable healthcare, nice infrastructure. The reality is, this is how life should be. This is how our tax dollars should be spent. As tax-paying citizens, we deserve the best public services, at least. I wonder where all the money is going. But anyway, it's 2025. Upgrades to daily public services should be a right, not a luxury. It is almost as if they care more about upgrading our phones versus upgrading daily essentials. It was just the other day when we realized that none of these third world countries outside the US are in the future. Their government just knows how to put tax dollars to use in a different way. Could you imagine how the USA would look if they positively innovated technology? It is definitely not normal to see people struggling or homeless. A lot of the things that people think are normal in the US definitely are not. Once you step out of the comfort zone and travel, you really begin to understand what is supposed to be normal and how public systems.
I'll let you take this one first.
I was wondering because I know you're the perfect person to take this one first.
I know I got an opinion.
Oh, well, I mean, I think they're right. They're not us in America have been I think we have been a little disillusioned to like they've sold us the American. I think we've bought it a lot.
So you would rather be in China and so you can ride the bullet trains and stuff?
I'm not saying I'd rather be there because this is my home, but I'm saying if you look at the way and
hold on. So the only reason why you wouldn't rather be there, or Japan, the only reason why you wouldn't want to be there is because this is your home.
For one, because I'm not Chinese or Japanese. That makes a big difference living in those countries. But what the point is, they are way more efficient with their tax dollars and how they use them. And
do they get taxed more?
A lot of the corruption that is in our system and the level and the scale of the corruption that's in our country doesn't exist there, and that allows them to get way better public infrastructure and stuff like that for the most part.
Do they get taxed higher?
I mean, we get taxed like 40% here too. So
that
I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly how much
I was just wondering,
they get paid. But
so you don't want to answer that one. What about like their social freedoms?
Exactly. I just knew you were gonna tear this apart. That's why I thought that you were the perfect person. I'm pretty sure we both thought that you were the perfect person for that reason.
I mean, what about they social? Like I'm thinking.
You like because she didn't only like put it at a juxtaposition of like innovation and technology, in which also when I was looking at that, what I seen was a commercial for automation, and I was looking at how many niggas' jobs didn't exist as I was looking at that as well. In which, like, I'm rolling with America over what I just seen right there. To be honest.
It says that in 2021, it says U.S. tops federal tax rate in 2021, which is 37% compared to Japan's 45%.
So it's not that much higher than what.
Theirs is higher.
Yeah. Okay, just wondering.
by almost 10%.
Yeah, nothing.
It's not like it's not. I mean,
but just wondering, you don't think that Japan and China has corruption? It sounds like you said also, like their government's not corrupt. Just making sure I understand.
No, I said to the level and the scale that the corruption.
Oh, so you think that we're more corrupt as a government?
Yes,
than
absolutely.
Can you outwardly say anything negative about the Chinese government and you not come up missing? I'm just wondering. Like, can you openly critique?
Or if they thought that you broke a law, what you think happens?
What happened to them? I mean, there's a lot of things in America that operate the very exact same way. Like a lot of them Clinton people, there's a lot of people that.
No, you can still say Clinton shit. You got to be like famous enough and like trying to like it's way different than not being able to critique publicly. But like, just keep. I want to build one more. This is what do you think about like housing and space?
Well, what's the question about housing?
I'm just asking that part in general. Like, have you seen how they live?
I mean, we have they're very tightly, but that has nothing to do with like their tax dollars and spending.
Oh, you just worried about the tax dollars?
Yes, that was like the only thing I was speaking of. And like corruption, that was the only thing I was talking about. When I see like,
I don't think that this was specifically anything about tax dollars.
Well, I had that meme in mind, and I had a couple other memes that I wanted to follow up with that would probably express my opinion a little better of why I'm saying what I'm saying.
This America.
I got a couple. I'm gonna show you America too. I got some.
Well, I think real, you had something, right?
I got some real American.
Oh no, that was done. I'm done. I'm just surprised that Johnny. This is. I've not heard Johnny stand on the other side.
Yeah, and it's actually crazy because he actually doesn't like. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because he's usually a Chinese hater, a Japanese hater.
Yeah, I ain't never had no smoke for them Japanese folks. Now,
Chinese. She was talking about China anyway.
She was talking about Japan.
Yeah, this was about Japan.
That was about Japan.
I thought she looped both of them.
Say both.
Yeah, she
started out. She said both.
The caption says Japan is not living in 2050. You just live in the United States.
Okay,
I know. As she was talking,
she did say it. She did say it when she was talking.
But no, I'm still in America. Fuck Japan. I'm all right.
Oh, okay. Well, anybody else got anything?
You said you was gonna go last.
I'm second. Yeah, I get to it.
I got my memes loaded. We good.
Could you hit the refresh on my on the memes? This should be reloaded.
All right, what you got for us?
I just seen this. I think I'm actually late on this, but if you can, could you go to the middle top? This is great.
What you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order. You agree to strike your words?
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
apologized.
recognizes
No.
Mr. Perry. Okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's gonna be recognized, then Miss Green
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then
Okay,
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words. I am
Mr.
not
Perry.
apologizing.
Just to better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Oh,
say it again.
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
I'm trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike
no
those
idea
words.
What you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just.
You just voted to do
Y'all did
it.
it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
You know what you're here for.
That was amazing to me.
Bleach blonde, bad
built butch body. That's crazy.
I gotta put that one in the repertoire.
No, that
I've been hearing people say it all week, but they know what they're talking about.
I think for me, that's what I had seen that too, and I was like, why is this a thing?
I gotta put that one in the repertoire.
Man, listen, roasting contest, you gotta stay away from the black women. That was one right there, boy.
That's the government, though.
Exactly. That's the only thing I can think of is like.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I guess
Shorty tried to get that shit taken off the record. She was like, "Strike that." She was like, "Don't put that in the record."
Yeah,
this is history.
And yes, of course. I understand the other idea of like, damn, these are politicians out here talking shit to each other. But I mean, also, I'd probably rewind and then be like, them old white men be having that same smoke for each other. But they're just like mentioning their family names and like dead people and shit. But go to top right. I think this is the interesting one. Might push for interesting conversation.
You ever wonder why black men don't travel as much as black women? Because I don't never see no black men in men's groups on vacation.
What? As a black man, we don't need the validation. We just live in the moment. And one more thing. You know what? Never mind. I'll just let the comments tell it.
You ever wonder why black men don't travel as much as black women?
Because they just roasted black men for like calling them passport bros last year.
Maybe. Was that a black man thing?
It was a bunch of black passport bros that they was just talking about, like for making.
I don't think they was they roasting them? It ain't really much to roast about.
A few people getting roasted for being like.
I guess I never thought of passport bros as being like a black thing.
All the ones I've seen in episode, like, and maybe it's just my algorithm, because but like.
When I think that's like to me, I look at it as like a red pill manosphere thing.
J. Cole and Boss had the song Passport Bros. Like so I mean that's when I first kind of like popped up on my radar for like black guys. It's like they had a whole song about it. And I've seen like the black traveling groups going out to the Colombias and Brazil and going out and getting women. I've seen black dudes do that. So
yeah, for the most part, I'd agree with what he's talking about. You really don't see it as much, especially I believe that we don't travel as much as they do. Like they definitely be hitting the goddamn planes for sure. I know many more. Like I honestly, do I know any black guys that really travel like that?
Okay, so part of what they were saying in the comments is that black men travel, they're just not taking pictures of it. Like we don't necessarily take pictures of stuff like as much as women do, or be posting, hey, I'm going on vacation or I'm about to go do this.
If I was to go, I'm definitely going to probably take. I'm definitely going to take pictures.
Yeah, I was about to. I think to me, I thought of. I didn't really. I think his commentary was his commentary. But it did for me. It made me think of like her actual question, even like it came off in a condescending sense. But like, do black men actually travel like that? And like, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it's something that we put on the top of the agenda. But I think that it is something that, whether it's inside male groups or going with your partner or like however you want to do it, I do see value in it. But I don't think it's an experience that we typically end up having.
I think that we value like being around each other is enough of oftentimes. Like the fact that we could come together and have a great fucking time and be at bruh house. That's enough for us. Like what I see a lot of the time for women, like the women that make decent earning, the travel part is a must for the, like they should be like to bail. You know what I mean? And like dudes, we could have a couple bottles of oil and just the homies pulling up. That's a great fucking time.
Nah, I ain't gonna front though. That leaving and like being like when we went to the mountains.
Yeah,
I still been ready to go back.
Yeah, I agree.
I was telling somebody about
like,
that the other day.
But
like even having like that same experience somewhere else and stuff like it. I think that for me, something that us as black men, I'll probably try and like start pushing and promoting, especially like as I begin traveling a little bit more and I see that it's not as steep as we be pretending that it actually is. That I think us getting out of our comfort zone with experiences will probably be beneficial. Because I think we all know that we can enjoy ourselves inside like these comfortable spaces that we're comfortable with. But there is a whole world at our access, and if we're able to access it without any like negative repercussions, I don't see why we shouldn't allow ourselves like some of those experiences. This is not saying like OD and try and be like traveling everywhere all the time or anything like that. But as Tone said, like whether it's like a mountain trip, whether it's like like a trip to who knows wherever, you know what I mean? Like when you find out, oh shit, you can get a round trip to LA for $20. I mean $200. You're like,
shit, I was looking at nothing. Tickets two tickets to New York in like July was like $180 something.
Yeah, it's not
stuff.
It's not anything
really
crazy
that bad when you start to look at it. I got two things. I think for one, I think women do travel more than men. I think it's a natural thing. Like a lot of times, the way family structure is set up, a lot of times men are bearing a lot of responsibility in certain situations where
I think that'd be like single women that be traveling a lot more though, right?
Well, I guess, but I mean, a lot of times there's, and I ain't gonna put everybody out there, but like there's a lot of dudes that are like pay for a woman to go on trips, and a lot of times they end up.
Oh yeah, but like married women will go on like their girls trip.
And the guy just sitting there, just staying at home. He's working,
but
and continuously
don't care about that shit as much
because we have there's a responsibility when you got that family. The trip ain't important. Getting your bills
I don't
done.
know if that's
and I think that's the reason why there is a discrepancy in the percentage of women that traveling versus men.
I think it goes closer to what Rail said. I think men, a lot of times traveling, they probably spend their money on like something else as well.
Well, that's
but it's something else. Whether like for example, like women might not care to have like the big like video game and full entertainment thing. A guy might throw 3,000 at that. She might put 3,000 at a trip. It's the same money spent. It's just that it's the value proposition.
I also had another one, especially from like my dad and like my grandfather, and I know like them growing up in the South and stuff. Traveling was something that was like it could be dangerous. Like they had green books and stuff in the South and tell you like which places to go. So like as Black people, traveling was something that like even like the older people in my family, it was done very cautiously. And you didn't want to.
But that's why I think that
go get. And I think
we have the luxury of breaking that.
But the people who raised us didn't raise us to do that. So it's something.
I agree
that we would have to be intentional about breaking, because if not, we'll just end up in the same cycle and the same thought patterns as the generation before us.
And I agree. Well, I think that that's something that it's nothing stopping us from being intentional about breaking it.
I still gotta check in the savings.
Huh? You said he's still checking in his savings.
I still got to check it in the savings.
That's a Kevin Hart joke.
You don't remember that?
It obviously
I'm
went well over.
I got the.
I got my bank account is set up.
When I transfer from my savings, it's gonna take 3 days. Yeah,
you ain't got to explain the joke.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh no, I just didn't like. If somebody else wanted to say something, I just didn't want to respond.
But yeah, okay. You got another one, or that was your last one?
Oh, go to Cuz top left. Or well, we can go top left. I was gonna go to the day.
Are starting to live better than people in the Western world. Now, I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about if you're well-to-do, if you're doing pretty good in your life, it's better to be doing really well in Africa than it is to be in America. Now, I'm currently in America, and it's like a little bit of a culture shock coming back from Africa, because when you come here, you're around people who, on paper, they're very successful, rich, and all that. But all these people are drowning in debt. They got a nice car, but they don't own it. They've got a lease on it. They may say that they own a house, but they kind of do, but they have a huge mortgage on it. But in Africa, people own everything outright. And what does this lead to, like, in day-to-day life? Well, when you know someone who's well-to-do in Africa, they're a lot more relaxed. They feel like they can go on trips with you. They're a lot more generous. People here, even though they may have a lot of money on paper in America, the second they let their foot off the gas, the second they stop hustling, those bills will catch up on them really quick. And it shows like kind of why I feel West Africa is the future, because here people are putting up an appearance of being rich, well-to-do, but it's fueled by debt, and it's fueled by them working 2 jobs. Husband and wife are both working high-paying jobs, 50 hours a week each, and doing all of that to just create this facade. Whereas in West Africa, once these guys have made it, they're living good lives. They're having that balance in life, and they're not killing themselves. So I think long-term, people in West Africa are starting to live.
Okay, so the irony of that is that didn't the slaves come from West Africa?
I thought the funny thing was
not according to Trey, but.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely not according to Trey. And FDA.
I think me and Trey share that same that same idea as far as like us being native to the land.
No, I do believe we are native to the land, but I think there was some Africans that came over here.
Oh no, there were definitely some Africans that came over, but I think that there was a large population of us that were here for sure.
Oh yeah, back to the
boy Trey been winning, boy.
I've been saying that since before I even knew who Trey was. Me and Tone was having these conversations a couple years ago. But yeah, back to what he said. I mean, what he said about the Western, we're definitely, that is the lifestyle that we're living. You know what I mean? I like to say, like, when people say, oh, he got a nice car, I'm like, yeah, it's a nice car, but that just means he has a higher car payment than you. You know what I mean? Oh, he got a nice house. Yeah, he probably just has a higher mortgage payment than you. And a lot of the houses that I go to and work on, it's just like, I look at these, but I'm like, bro, why would you spend that kind of money on a house? Like, you see the cars in the house, it's like, bro, they say that the average person making six figures living paycheck to paycheck. So that what he's talking about is the truth. Most of us, period. I would say like it's got to be upwards of like 90% of us here are living paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? In the reality, like, yeah, you got nice things, but
I think it's because we live in like the best capitalistic like society, like America has become the pinnacle, and they've tricked us into, like say before, like my parents, they didn't finance all of that stuff. Like it was a concept of you only buy what you can afford.
Mhm.
And even in America before, like the 80s, the 90s, before you had like some of the hyperinflation that's happened since the 70s, people didn't really get into a whole bunch of debt to get these houses, to get these cars. You were really buying what you could afford. I think it kind of goes back into like when we got off the petrodollar and they was able to, switch our dollar from a gold standard
to just
and to where there's no real true intrinsic value in it. We also, like you said, we don't pay for anything cash. We use credit, so we're able to get on the hook of these debt traps, and it's a testament to how good our country has kind of sold us these systems and executed these capitalistic plays. And we're the victims, of it in the long run. And you see other places where we used to look at some of those countries as, oh, that's a third world country, but they've been playing the slow game. And you see where they're actually can build and, accumulate actual real tangible, wealth that you can, that has
Ownership.
utility. Yeah, ownership of it, true ownership. So I think there is a difference in how they do it and how we do it, and over the long run we see the pros and cons of both sides.
Yeah, my main takeaway was gentrification is going worldwide.
You got this white man over here telling us about.
He talking about how they about the new wave is to exploit the West Africans.
West Africa.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's the same place.
That to me, that was like the glaring thing. These niggas like, hey, they got it for cheap over here.
Yeah, it's the same thing in Bali.
Got it.
One of the homies,
Hey,
the homie Dave's I guess younger sister, she moved to Bali. She's been living there probably like 3 years now. And she was talking about like the difference in like the rent there. I think she was like $500 is like her rent for the year.
Damn.
Over there. And she was like, she came back and visited and went back. She doesn't, you know what I mean? It's different. Like the people
out there with Russell Simmons and Diddy.
The people are just
bro, chill.
The people. The thing is that when you have a capitalistic society that's run and the dollar is the main thing and everybody's focus, there is a difference in the society. The society's value system. If it's not built in just a dollar, then what would it be built in? It'd probably be built more in like people. And so with them having these, their relationships are different. That was the thing that she came and visited, like I said, and she could have stayed, but she decided, no, y'all are really chasing money. And over here, that's not what they're doing there. And I like the feel of this much better.
No, I get that.
And so it like literally makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like,
what's she doing over there?
She's a teacher.
Oh, okay.
But as a matter of fact, her younger sister, the youngest one, she went over there, but she decided to come back. You know what I mean? She decided to come back, and I mean, for whatever reason, now what you call it? Now the oldest one over there. They all pretty much, you know what I mean, going back and forth or whatever. And at the end of the day, I think the big thing is that when you go over there, you do lose a lot of these commodities that we have here and that we grow to love. But the people over there, you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, it's all about like kind of what you value, you know what I mean? If you on this chase, which we all over here, we on that chase, bro. And if you go somewhere where your life could be more simple to where you can care about the things that really matter, I think that would be dope too. I love to experience it.
Yeah, quick question. Just for all three of you. If you had to move from this country, you had to go to another country, what country would you want to go to?
I don't know enough about it.
Canada.
Canada.
It's just America light. Fuck it. I like America.
This nigga said America light.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said either like Nigeria, Ghana, I like Switzerland. If I had to go one to give a throw European in there, I've always respected the way Switzerland kind of runs their country, in comparison to how we run our country here. I just, I think they have a great idea. Now, I probably don't fit in, in Switzerland as much, with the concept and the idea.
They like super like liberal sexually and all that shit too.
It's not. I was talking politically.
But I think Sweden, Switzerland, a couple of them like they all like.
I think you might be talking about Sweden. I'm talking about Switzerland.
Like all of them, like them.
Sweden.
But go ahead.
Well, no, I mean those are the three. Like if I wasn't in America, I'd probably,
Yeah, I don't have no list. I'll just say like I would like to be somewhere where the majority is people that look like me. I would definitely feel much more comfortable being somewhere like where the majority looks like me, and the culture isn't necessarily like our old urban culture. You know what I mean? I would definitely. It wouldn't be. I ain't trying to go nowhere with no whole bunch of white folk. I just don't. You know what I mean? White folk, the white folk that that I've been around, cool. But I wouldn't I go to like these neighborhoods where they're just like predominantly white, and I just don't feel comfortable.
I will say
these also are American whites too.
Don't nobody want to go to South America.
So something interesting that like going to LA this past weekend, there was two things that stood out to me. One, when I tell you you drive anywhere and all you see is Teslas. Teslas is like Hondas up over there, to be honest. It's probably dealing with how high the fucking gas is, because that shit is high. But the other thing is that like California, especially where I was in Anaheim, Los Angeles, and Ladera, it is primarily Hispanic.
Yeah.
Then the next group is Asians, then it's whites, then it's blacks, but it is primarily Hispanics. That's like I went long periods of time with only seeing Hispanics. From the workers at the to the hotel, to the fast food, to the gyms we was at. Only time I really see black kids would be like at the gyms.
That's how it is in Miami too.
But white people were also like the hyper minority as well. And I thought that was just it was really, really interesting that there's definitely spaces here in America where Hispanics are the majority, and it's felt across the board.
Yeah, California got a lot going on as to why that's like it is. California got a lot of things going on as far as their state,
immigration
and all that shit. Yeah, all the incentives and all that stuff they got going with the immigration.
All right.
Oh yeah, you ready for me, big dog?
Yep, let's get
Pause.
Hey,
Pause.
That was wild.
Crazy.
Ready for the memes.
I'm just saying.
The memes.
Jeez.
The fucking memes.
Hey, I'll try to save you, bro.
I'm trying to line your boy up. So I want to start light. Let me get hey, can you hit refresh? I don't see.
Yeah, I just opened it.
Gotta be brave.
Yeah, give me the black chick.
Big good talk.
Right there, but second row left.
All right.
Their children. I need you to listen to this. Your children aren't the only thing being tracked. Okay?
Addie Low Bank.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, Addison.
Where you gonna go?
How do you know I'm gonna go somewhere?
You at Wingstop?
Yes, I'm at Wingstop.
Can Can you give me 10 pieces? Yeah, some Kool-Aid.
10 pieces of cool. What flavors?
Honey hot and original hot and the lemonade too.
Okay.
On top of the Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Can you fill the car up too?
Fill the car. Hold on. Hello.
I see you at Wingstop. Can you give me some? I want a 5-piece tender, hot honey, with a lemonade, and I want the voodoo fries.
Anything else?
2 extra ranches.
Hold on, is that mama? Did you get the order? Is she still gonna fill the car up?
You also being tracked.
Yeah, that's funny.
Nah, I thought like that. These kids are creative. You know, they trying to they coming up with ways to outsmart the system. I would have loved to have that back in the day.
Boy, I would have been telling, hey, Ma, I see you over here. My mom used to sneak and get food.
I'd have loved to have that one.
Wouldn't have been no sneaking back there.
Yeah, it would have been. She wouldn't have had to sneak because Mom Dukes wouldn't have gave a fuck what she was talking about. You still would have given. Literally, she wouldn't have cared. You would get sneak or no sneak. No,
I'm gonna call. I'm still gonna call.
Bro, you know it used to be crazy how we were so wild. Any of y'all ever called your mama job and asked for your mama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would be so crazy in today's world. It's like it's kind of I don't know. I thought that was. I seen a meme saying we were some wild kids calling your mama job, like interrupting her work, just to.
Yeah.
Hey, mom, you can give me some Mickey D's.
Oh no, I ain't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't no way to actually get that back in the day.
Which is you like the second one? Can I get the middle one right beside her? It's no Diddy but Dwight.
How you have to know Diddy that man's existence?
I mean,
Which team will win if y'all play their proms?
We winning, bro. What are you
With
talking
KD?
about? That team ain't
What you
beating
think?
the Warriors, bro. They got KD.
Bro, we got LeBron.
Who gonna check Bron? They shown that they can check Bron. They beat him like 3 times.
All of us in our prime,
Dwight in
we
his
are.
prime.
Come on, man. We sweeping.
Is that Melo in that picture?
Mello, hello, Mello.
What is you talking
Now,
about?
y'all can't shoot for shit over there, bro.
Rondo,
Westbrook, Dwight, they going zone.
Now y'all losing in 7. If they go zone, y'all losing 7.
You
Y'all
got
not
me,
shooting nothing.
Mello, Russ, AD, Rondo, and Bron. We got all the rebounds. Sweet. Well, how y'all gonna score?
Nigga, they got KD. Don't ask how they gonna score. You got Prom Clay, who scored like 36 in the quarter. You don't think they gonna score?
Who gonna stop Mello?
Who guarding Boogie?
3 times.
Jesus Christ.
Who gonna guard LeBron?
Draymond.
ain't doing shit with none of them. I got the Lakers.
Of course you got the Lakers, bro. You on the damn team.
I
If you're
do
on
too.
the Warriors, what team you taking, bro?
If I'm on the Warriors, I'm taking the Warriors. What are you talking about?
But I think the Lakers, you put them all them boys in the prime, they actually beat that team. You got Melo in his prime, Russ in his prime, AD, Dwight in his prime, Rondo in his prime, and LeBron. So it's a hell of a team, my boy.
It'd be a good one. I think I'm trying to. So yeah, I guess the weak link on the Lakers would be Rondo. Weak link on the Warriors would be Draymond when it comes down to on the offensive end. But if you matching it up positions, you got Steph and Rondo. That's
Steph.
You got who's 2 over there? Who's the 2?
Russ or no?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you go Russ and Clay. You probably still go with.
But that mean we be bringing Melo off the bench.
You tell me how it's working. I don't know.
Yeah, Melo coming off the bench, but that's a crazy one off the bench though.
Okay, so that's 2 for him already. So who's that?
Nah. Wait a minute. You saying Clay over Russ? Nah,
easy.
Nah, Russ a way better player than Clay.
Like the team doesn't even make sense to work.
Yeah, the team
because Rondo or Russell can't shoot, and Dwight can't shoot. So you only got 2 players that can actually put the ball in the basket. Everything else has to be like dribble, drive, screen work.
We got Melo off the bench. He coming in.
But then, so I'm guessing Boogie's going to be not Boogie. You got
AD,
KD at the 3. Who's that matching up? LeBron.
Yeah.
Whichever way you want to put that.
Give me Bron.
Okay, that's fair enough.
AD, Draymond, give me AD.
Okay, and then you got Boogie. Well,
versus the White.
oh my bad. But I'm gonna flip it because I'm gonna go Boogie and AD. That's how I match it up. And then I'm gonna throw Dwight and Draymond.
And Draymond, I'm still giving me Dwight over Draymond.
Okay, cool.
And I take AD over Boogie.
And I think that's it. I think the two closest matchups is going to be AD and Boogie and KD and LeBron.
I think
everything else, like y'all, I could give you whatchamacallit, Dwight over Draymond, but the other two, Steph and whatchamacallit, it's a wash.
Y'all got the guards,
but 3 and 4, that's tight. Just be
3
real.
is tight. 4 not really that tight.
Prime Boogie
versus Prime AD. Stop, bro. Stop. AD.
Okay.
Stop, bro.
Bro, they played together and we seen who Big Dog really was.
AD.
Okay.
AD got the whole farm, bro. They traded motherfucking DeMarcus Cousins for 2 popsicles
while being fucking injured. We're talking about Prime still, right? I'm just making sure we talking about Prime. Pretending like Boogie wasn't a top 2 to 3 big in the league in the AD era is crazy.
He was the top 10 big for 40 games, bro.
Okay, all right. So you're not having a real conversation. But so I guess if I'm walking it down that way, it's 2, close to 2 and 1. I'd probably go Warriors.
Of course. But I think that's a good debate. But I'm gonna get into the real meat and potatoes now. I just wanted to, throw a little some light ones up there. But if you could go down to the
But if you switched out Carmelo for Rondo, no, Carmelo for Russ, I'd probably go Lakers. That's the biggest thing. And really, you probably want to put Ron at the 1, and then you'll go more scoring in general.
Yeah, and then leave Rondo. Yeah, that makes sense too. But let me get the middle row, far right. And this kind of goes to the meme you was playing.
Talking about right here.
Yeah. Can you read it?
Don't seeing stuff like this as an American make you wonder where they're spending our tax dollars. Yeah, you get turned into one of them people because I just got back from a road trip. I went to the SIP for the first time in almost 2 years to go see the family, Mother's Day and whatnot. And on the way there, the highway had got cut down to just one lane. And it's not one natural highway lane. It's one of them makeshift lanes, one of them paper mache pathways where they done put barricades and safety cones to guide you through one of the worst roads that I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm talking about this ride's supposed to be 7 hours. It took almost 8 just because I had to ride on that road for about 15 miles where like Hope got mad and did Chicago footwork on it all the way through. And the road's so bad, bro. If you flew a plane over it, it would need an alignment. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't make no sense. So it makes you wonder why you driving through it. Like for a country that's always claiming to be the best, why we ain't got one of them?
Like, and they what it is, I don't know if people can see it, but they put a bridge over the road work. So like you can just continue driving like there's no traffic while they fix the road.
And so you're driving over so the people is working underneath you.
That. And then so they just continue working and then there's no congestion and all of that. Then when they done, you just keep on driving. But like that's the type of stuff that I see at other places that like I'd be so frustrated with America when I see our tax dollars go overseas. It goes to funding military bases and all kind of countries. And I'm like, if we just demanded a little more from our country as far as like what we got going on here and not worried about like power projection to the whole world, us Americans would live a way better life.
Yeah, I think they kind of done stuck their foot too deep in shit to really kind of not have the military bases and all of that funding because we kind of like,
but nobody's gonna
like
come
neck
over.
deep in shit.
If we close every military base overseas, nobody is still gonna come to America and mess with us. And they would never do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be the smartest thing. I think that
it's like we too far in the shit to like
a big piece of why America holds the position that it does is because of
we fuck with everybody. We done fucked with everybody, done everybody fucked up. So we got to make sure and keep eyes all over the place because
there's also a reason why, like a lot of places, if you go somewhere as an American, you might have to watch your back.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
don't go to them places.
Well, I mean, like, and that's what like
they be in France and all over the world.
Ain't nobody fucking
killing
with you
Americans, bro. Killing Americans just because we Americans. because of that shit that we talking
They
about.
be killing Americans off the strength in France,
bro. You know what Hamas's the thing is? They was like it's glory to Islam, death to America. Those the first two things.
Yeah, Palestine and France are way different places.
Also, there's a lot of places. There's a lot of people that don't like Americans, and they go all over the world to hurt us because of the things that we've done in their country. Not because like.
So I guess, are you saying that there is like some version of like I don't want to say like an epidemic, but there's any level of a bunch of situations where Americans are going abroad and dying because they're American, or this is like just some fantasy thing?
I mean, there has been alerts even in the past year where Americans have been told to leave certain places, to not visit certain places, strictly because of terroristic threats.
And like those certain places would be like Middle Eastern.
No, even
and then, but also making sure that because you didn't really
even in places like Europe, France was the one where they just had a bunch of terrorist attacks last year, and
on Americans.
They were targeting anybody that was Western. If you was an American, they would have shot you too.
Okay, but making sure, but Western, not just American. And then you kind of like you skipped over the question and you answered it like adjacently. So there hasn't really been any Americans being killed abroad for being American, like generally speaking.
There was just 3 Americans that got killed in Syria where they dropped the bomb over what just happened in Gaza. That just happened like 3-4 months ago.
Did Americans get killed because they were Americans or because they were in Syria? Were they targeted because they were
targeting American soldiers? Because they were American.
No, they were soldiers.
All right.
All right. I was gonna go because I did hear last year about
American. Are they not Americans?
But I didn't think that's where we were having a conversation. That you was talking about people going abroad traveling.
That was a bit of a stretch.
And then you just talked about American soldiers dying.
That was the only specific example I could have. I mean, if I
in general, because Americans do be traveling and going out. So my point is that that's not really a thing that's really happening, though, right?
I can't. I mean,
like you don't like you would hear about it, like it would make the news.
Well, I'm saying they have had travel reports for Americans in foreign countries. They've been code orange over the last year. Now I'd have to go back and get the specific. It was this country at this date,
but nothing ever happened though, right?
But I mean, they're just warning us. That means there's obviously people that don't like us. And my only point,
of course, if you're going to an enemy territory during like enemy time,
and my only point is, we as America, we make those enemies around the world.
Well, I mean, hold on.
We go out and make like in our
we ain't done a damn thing.
You were in the army.
Yeah. I was in the army. I guess you count me damn bad. You're right. Yeah, damn, you got me with that one. Let me shut the fuck up. That's facts.
So like you can even go to like Operation Ajax in Iran, where we overthrew their government 70 years ago. There are still repercussions of those actions that go on in Iran to this day. And for us to act like, oh, it's nothing happened, but we don't have to do that. Like, there's so much stuff that's wrong in this country that, like, why do we focus on other countries? That's my only point.
So are you saying, are you like one of the people that are America only and we shouldn't care about foreign policy at all? Is that like the argument that you're making right now?
We should only care about foreign policy enough to protect us in this homeland. Like, but a lot of the foreign policy, it's out there for capitalism. It's out there for people to go and make money. It ain't to protect us. They don't got bases over there in Iraq because they care about us as a citizen. They got bases over there because BP and motherfucking Chevron, they want to go and make some money. That's why they got bases over there.
Do you benefit from that as a American?
Do I? Not really.
Oh,
you said not really.
I ain't got no oil money.
To say.
I ain't got no oil checks.
It's tough to say.
Okay.
And then, hey, Tone, give me one more because we gonna talk about the military. Let's talk about the military.
Oh, shit.
You just wanted to talk about the military. I was talking about how no regular Americans be getting killed overseas when you said so.
Johnny, don't let him box you like that, bro.
No, it ain't no box.
Hey, that's what.
Ain't no box. I told him I'll give him the examples.
That nigga
Give me
said-
third row.
That nigga say a couple.
Give me it's the top row now. It's under we
That's
sweeping.
my nigga, bro.
It's under we sweeping.
Right here.
Yeah. And this my only point.
Oh yeah, I shot one of them Jones.
How that help us? How does help us as Americans?
Wait. All right, I'm gonna just let it go.
Oh, that's the Ray. Is that the Ray?
No, I think that's the Gatling gun.
I will say the 50 is one of the most funnest things to shoot.
But all of those, all of these companies and the people who sell those bullets, the people who sell these guns.
I mean, if you're gonna have somebody potentially using these, don't they need to be trained on them?
So you don't believe in having a strong government? I mean, military?
I don't believe.
Yeah, Johnny, you reaching now, bro.
I don't believe in having a government that's like our Pentagon lost over $1 trillion.
Yeah, they just lost it,
and so I don't believe in that.
Yeah. Right, but that's different than this. Like we actually say, I enjoyed them using money,
but that shows how frivolous that if you know about some of these testing,
you know something else, bro. Hey, at the end of the day, like they be having a budget to use by the quarter, and they just buy shit because they don't want the money because they just lose the money if they don't spend
and they won't get that money.
So
the
they
next
just
go
spend
round.
I know, I get it, but
so that's a waste of taxpayers' dollars at the end of the day.
I think that is a waste. I don't think that is a waste.
No, that wasn't a waste.
I think that just shows you the scale and like all of that.
Whatever that costs, I want our military to be as good as possible.
That wasn't real.
I enjoy feeling safe.
That was a
in
bunch
America.
of drills that they was doing at the end of the month to try to.
Nah, I ain't say that. That ain't what I was saying, Johnny. I was talking about buying TVs, big ass TVs and shit. That right there, I think that is absolutely necessary. Like I remember doing a mission. It's like in my MOS, like we were doing like air missile defense. So like we literally went out to Fort Bliss and did a my mind going blank on what we called, but either way, we went out there and we did like a dry run, so to say, of utilizing the equipment, and you know what I mean. It probably cost a good bit of bread to do it, but it was necessary. It was necessary. Even like the idea of like shooting a 50 and basic and all of this and all, it's necessary, bro. That stuff there, I believe is necessary. If you got it, you want people to be able to use it.
Okay, I guess keep on.
But I get you with the trillion that they just lost and can't find.
I agree with the trillion part. You just used a bad example. Like I
couldn't find the meme that had the $1 trillion. So I couldn't find that meme.
There you go. You could have just said the statement.
Well, I wanted to get the state. I had to use something to get the statement.
Oh, my bad.
I had it.
Next time, go on your notepad, write $1 trillion, and then send it in.
But yeah, that's all I got. I just wanted to get that shit off. You know,
right.
That shit kind of made me mad when I seen it. I was like, $11.8 million. Like that's absurd. But that was my initial reaction. Clearly, y'all didn't have
rail gun. I said ray gun. Rail gun is what I.
No, that was a Gatling gun they was shooting.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I clarified that because I said ray gun and that's on Call of Duty. Had to double back and fix that.
Hey, shout out to the chat. We are having technical difficulties, so we can't see y'all today. But yeah, shout out to the chat. Everybody that's in the chat.
I got Tone's mom coming over later on to work out the kinks.
Make sure y'all make sure that y'all
you know I'm coming back.
Now, all right. Make sure that y'all continue commenting. But is it time?
Ooh, yeah, let me get this other dub, bro. Y'all boys gotta take another L.
Here we go.
Get out of here.
Fuck ass boy.
Oh. Them boys don't even know what to do. They want to so long.
Nigga nice. Oh, he got me.
All right, so what we got? We're gonna make Johnny last. Hold on, Johnny was. Yeah, I'm gonna make Johnny last.
Johnny's, what was yours? The sex toys diminished sex drive.
Hey man, you know, like people be DMing me about that shit, so I gotta leave.
Johnny said he just read up on the BBCs.
Hey, yo, chill, bro. Oh, hey, stop.
Got him for the low. Tell him.
Stop. Yeah, and, hey, look.
You a salesman or what?
Hey, look, I ain't trying to get no crazy DMs. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Just nah.
So I guess I'm gonna go first. Then we're gonna do Q, and then you. So my topic for the week is and it kind of really kind of stemmed from the clip that posted from us from last week, and about me kind of like talking about are we just slow? You know what I mean? As a community, are we just slow that we keep on saying that we're, and it's like I'm saying these things with so much
conviction.
Much, I guess, yeah, conviction that it made me think about like how it would be received. So I was trying. My question for this week is, where is the line between like trying to hold the community accountable to the point to where's that line to where now you're starting to coon? You know how like you would have maybe a well, like your Candace Owens, you know what I mean? They were saying, you know, that she was like known as like the quote unquote Uncle Tom Coon, you know, and we've had many different Black people that were pretty much talking about the problems in the community, and it's like, where's that point where it's no longer productive, and now you like cross the line to like coonism?
Okay. If I would start real quick, I'd say I think first thing would be if you get a white wife. I think that's like red flag number one. Most coons that are on the accountability train that have white wives, most Black accountability activists that have white wives, they end up being coons. I would say that probably be red flag number one. It's not necessary, but it's not what's the word I'm looking for? I'll keep going. But nah, if I was to seriously try and answer the question, what is the line? I think that it probably does end up diverging at when you start kowtowing for the other audience. And that ends up being its own thing. But yeah. So for me, that's the closest line that I would want to draw.
And you said when you start kowtowing for the
other audience,
like, for the other audience, you're saying like, so what if a person comes on here where it's not like we have you as a Black person, you're going to a show that has an audience that's demographic is predominantly white. Let's just say like amongst Black people. So is it that you can't like come into a place like this and speak accountability and be a coon?
I don't. Well, I think
I don't think that you can, in my opinion, because of like these are Black voices speaking to Black voices for Black voices in general. I think that, for example, if like I was to go on, I don't know, like the PBD podcast or something where these are all white and like foreign people, and my entire shtick is talking down about Black people, I think that would be cooning. Because of like I don't see where the relevance would be, where I would need to go on a platform of all foreigners and all other people and only just degrade my people. I think that if the conversation was like all people in general and Black was a piece of that, then I don't see that as cooning either. I think that when outsiders bring Black voices on to pretty much shit on their culture without any other like any other point to it, then that's probably when I say it's close.
So just to make sure before you go, Johnny, there's nothing I can say here on this podcast amongst us and our demographic that could be cooning.
No, you could say something, I'm sure. Like it would just have to be like something coonish, but
but that's what I'm asking. Though. What is that?
I don't know if accountability is coonish. That's just saying like what, like that's a means of a plan. I think I don't know. If you go to Johnny, I could probably think of something that'd be really coonish, and then I can like tell you. I don't know.
All right, go ahead,
No, I
Johnny.
mean, I think the audience matters like tremendously. We're talking about like cooning and accountability. I mean, if I'm telling you, like, hey, bro, you need to, you need to quit being a piece of shit, and you need to, go be with your family and doing that. I'm not cooning if what I'm telling you is the truth. Now, if I go in front of my white boss and like, or the boss man, and at the break room, and I'm thought, man, that motherfucker real piece of shit. He don't even take care of the kid, and I do that in front of the boss man. Then that's cooning because I'm taking you and I'm throwing you under the bus. It's the same message.
So
it's the same message, but if I'm telling you directly and holding you to a higher standard, I don't think it could ever be cooning. Now, if I take that same message and could have all the best intentions for it, but I start telling this outside audience that message, and then they can take that message and do whatever they want, and I don't have any control over it, then that's, to me, when it becomes cooning. I don't think it's necessarily about the message or what you're saying. It's about who you're saying it to, and
I think sometimes it can, but I do agree with, if you're being used as a black voice to shit on black people for a white audience.
Yeah, it's like, why are you there saying the things you're saying? And like, you're just saying it, and it's not.
If that's like your sole purpose,
and you're not helping any black people, but you're just telling these white people how bad black people are and what we should do, but you're really not saying it to any black person that could take it and have any use to what you're saying. To me, that's cooning, because you're just putting negative shit out there with no solutions, and you're putting it out there to the people who don't want us to have the solutions also. And
yeah,
me,
I didn't never know that.
In.
I understand what y'all are saying. I didn't know that like you couldn't be talking to black people and be cooning. I never know that. Like, as a black person talking to black people, you can't be.
I think most time,
I think that you can coon inside that manner as well.
That's what I'm trying to. So, what does this look like? Like, where's the line between?
Rarer, though. That's way rarer.
And see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I ain't really so much wanting to like. That ain't where I was really kind of going. It's more of like black people speaking to black people. Like, of course, I can understand. If you go into a predominantly white demographic and your whole, they brought you on because this is what you're known for doing, and you do that for them, and you're just, you know what I mean? I could see what, you know what I mean, that being like the easy way of looking at it, but like, just like a person that's,
I put it like this. Trey tried to call me a coon a lot of time when like I say anything about black people having accountability.
That's what I'm talking about. And these kind of conversations.
Are those words coonish when I say that to black people? Absolutely not. It's because it's the truth. It's what we need to hear. You can disagree with it. You can not like it as a black person, but I am not a coon. Right. I am not, no matter whether you agree or disagree with what I'm saying or not. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to do nothing. But when I'm telling black people what we need to do, I'm not being a coon. And so it's like, it ain't about like, if what I'm saying is true. Now, if I could just come out and say some just super ignorant, non-factual shit and just pull shit out my ass and just say some really ignorant, coonish shit, yes.
So you say like black people are lazy in front of black people, only talking to black people. You a coon.
And if you take it out of context and just like a
I think it could. I guess
like that could
to
probably,
me, a way that you could be quote unquote coonish, and I guess I wasn't prepared for the like what is the coon conversation, but if we're here, and an example that I would give it would be closest thing that I would say a black person around black people. Cooning would be overly blaming black people for like societal issues in itself. And that could be something that's like, for example, like something that's prevalent across all people and making that a black person thing, and like overly weighing overly like drilling on that thing. I think that probably could be because it's demonizing a group for an issue that is bigger than them, that isn't isolated to just them.
Yes, I don't know if I think that, and I guess that, like I said, I know that anytime we talk about like, and we're oftentimes going to talk about like the community, and you know what I mean? I am definitely one to bring about like the things that I see that are to the detriment of the community, and I don't mind saying that And I just think about like, you know, the how it's taken. And like I know a lot of the times a lot of people don't want to hear, you know what I mean? That just like a lot of the times where we go back into like the well, we ain't gotta go there, but I'll just say anyway, like in the spiritual or religious stance where you had these people like telling you that this you're not living up to such and such standard, and then you know we would definitely rather not we would veer away from that accountability rather than look at it and be like, yeah, you know what I mean, you're right, you know what I mean. So like I was just kind of seeing, you know, where that line would be, where like is there a thing that you can kind of go too far with
and I
it?
guess the main thing, even if we I think the main thing would be if it's in good faith or not. I think that's usually
actually,
like
that makes
like the easiest way to kind of like break it down.
Yeah, but my thing is that's up for debate. Who's to say it's not in good faith? That's just your opinion of your opinion of what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can.
Oh no, for sure. I guess to me, if you're saying something in good faith, I don't know if you just blanket say black people are lazy or black people are dumb. I don't know where the good faith part of that is. Like that's just a blanket statement that's saying that this is a thing.
Yeah.
In
Which
comparison
is
to like
ignorant
a constructive criticism,
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's different nuance. Could it be taken by some? I think any critique by some people will be taken negatively, and that be like disparaging words of being a coon or being a sellout or being an Uncle Tom, like whatever those words could be. But to me, in reality, if it actually is, to me, I put it on like if it is coming from a place of good faith or not.
I'm really trying to think of something coonish to say. And all I can hear is Uncle Ruckus in my head the whole time.
It's white wives, I'm telling
you. Get your banana peeling ass off me. That was that joint took me.
I said white queens forever. Johnny, finish that off for me. Oh, never mind. All right.
He going like he hear you and everything. Huh? Well, I'm done with that one.
I was gonna say, who you?
There's something cute.
Yeah. I can get into it. So kind of going off of, and this is a bit of a piggyback from last week's episode. In my train of thought, and again, this is in no way a justification for anything that happened last week, i.e., the whole Diddy situation, anything like that. But it just kind of got me thinking in the lens of good people and bad people. Is this like an innate thing, or is this some in essence something that you're born as, or something that you're molded into, and you could be molded out of? And it kind of got me thinking through one of the main things that are seen from the Diddy situation, and just situations of people of power in general. There's a saying that says, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it kind of got me thinking inside that lens, like what the thing about Diddy, if you take, say, the Cassie situation, where from my understanding, I think it was like he signed her when she was like 18 or 19 or something like that. He was like 39. Signed her to a 10-year deal. While making her his girlfriend, or how y'all understand what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And the power that comes from that scenario, if you just sit and think about that, like that's almost a certain level of absolute power.
Yeah.
Like I control your career, I control your lifestyle, I control, in essence, like the money that you can make in general, like the life that you can live in general. And it's by law, like it's contracted to me.
I've seen that happen, like even in my field, where like not on the same scale, because I mean this was obviously like a GM, but I've seen where a guy would give a girl a job and then try to go holler at her, and he wasn't a good dude, and you could see the play.
Yeah,
you could see he was doing the same that Diddy stuff, just on a smaller, a little less money. He was running that play, and somebody who is seeking that kind of power, you have to question like their motives. Now, we'll say this because where we was at last week, I don't think absolute power. What was the term?
Corrupts absolutely.
Corrupts. I don't think it corrupts absolutely. I think it does corrupt, but just like how I think there's some really good. I think there's people that are born evil and people that are born good, and 80% of us are in the middle. I think there are some examples of people who have absolute power who aren't corrupted.
Give me an example.
I was just about to say, where have you seen this at?
I'm just using statistics.
What statistics? This nigga just pulled some shit out his ass.
No, I thought we agreed.
How
that,
many Americans died over these?
I thought we agreed last week that like the 80% of people are somewhere in the middle.
No, that was your perspective. I left on the fence. I didn't have it like
you didn't agree with it.
No, I'm still in the middle. I don't have a decision on if I think that people are born gay or not. All right, I'm joking. All right.
The community gonna get us.
No, if people are born evil or if they're if like your environment like it molds that, and if you can be if like that character trait can be therapied out of you. I don't know. I think like you landed on a decision, but you didn't speak for me. You might have spoke for real too.
No, he didn't
okay,
speak for
well,
me.
Based on my logic from last week,
and you were speaking for real too, right?
No,
no,
you wouldn't
be out
speak
here on
for
this
me.
island peninsula, maybe.
It makes no sense to me. Crazy.
Nah, I ain't going.
But like. Okay, so that's where I was at last week after discussion. So I'm gonna progress. I'm gonna carry over.
I will say that I don't believe that we're yet to see an example of this, but I don't necessarily think that power corrupts absolutely. Like I believe that there are decent people out here that can balance it. You know what I mean? Can balance while being a good person, but I'm not giving no 80%. You can goddamn close your hands. 80%. You came up with your own statistics. I'm not going with that.
But y'all are saying the same thing, though.
Yeah. But he just uses statistics. What I believe is that I believe that a lot of it's circumstantial, environmental and circumstantial. I think that most of the things that I think people learn to be the way that they have to be to deal with the world that they have around them.
But I guess in me landing on the question, to me, there's a piece of me that does begin to think that is it not human nature to be some level of corrupt if given the proper amount of power? Where if we can't speak to an example that has been corruption free when given absolute power.
Hey, I think it's also like the idea of the person that will pursue absolute power. Like the person that has in their mind to pursue absolute power once they obtain said.
But there's a bunch of people that's been given. I guess what I'm saying is
what
there's
about
a bunch
like fathers in households, like head of households. Like,
I don't think you have absolute power.
You kind of do.
And then especially like
and
and then people like to think of, and this is what I really don't like it, but I can't speak from my experience of like being in a traditional relationship earlier on without having the maturation and understanding of how to productively lead.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do the dictator thing and you can be an asshole dickhead, and then you could also, if it is not who you know what I mean, if it's not who you are as a person, then I believe that you can kind of empathize and see your way past it and become a better leader.
I know I agree with that on a small scale. Like so for me,
and I think it's a small scale as well.
So for me, I think that I believe like what I want to believe of myself is the thing that if given absolute power, that I would not. But I also understand that there's never been a situation where given complete absolute power to where any and everything that I want, I can have. And that's like a different level of power and what it's seen for every other person throughout the history of the world when given that level. Like I think that there's a difference between like having power in your house, but then having to like can be constrained. Like if you have, for example, if you can beat a woman in public at a hotel and get away with it, just I'm gonna throw this cash and that in itself, and that's not even like the most extremeness of absolute power. But you couldn't be corrupted inside some kind of way. I don't know if, again, like I said, history and human nature to me hasn't shown that that's like a possibility. I think that we have morality on the scale in which we have been allowed of it, but I guess it's just interesting to imagine if given all the world, how would each person do?
And see, that's the thing. Like I was saying, I think it's the type of people that actually strive for said thing. So like it takes a kind of mindset and an egotistical, and I believe almost a bit of a narcissistic kind of thinking in order to like obtain said thing. So like once you've went, and then the thing that you have to do, the things that you have to do to accomplish this goal also corrupts the way that you believe things are, like your reality. It once you've had to do such, you know what I mean, certain things, which oftentimes you hear of these people having to like make these choices that go against what we would consider moral logic. You know what I mean? And they go.
So you don't think that there's like any people that have amassed power I guess
without seeking it, because
without
anybody has been like has inherited that kind of power.
Because like if you just look at the history of the world,
you can look at like J.P. Morgan and all of his sons and all of that stuff, and it's like it's literally the same thing. Even
but
though
just
they
go
were
back to like monarchies and shit like that beforehand. And if to me, I'm just looking at the history of man in general.
That's what I was going to ask. Even in history, like we go back,
and that's what I'm basing. I'm not basing it off like the sample size of America of just 100 years, but like the history of
all
the world. I don't know.
Were like corrupted people when they had absolute power, or do we just hear about the corrupt ones and then the ones that were good?
What was it?
Who are the good ones that didn't have any schmut on their jacket?
I want to make sure in Hotep shit. That was the queen.
In Hotep shit.
He talking about the
right.
Oh,
and
you said like Imhotep.
In Imhotep. So like they also didn't she had the longest rule of peace.
Who you talking about?
Fuck it.
I don't want to say the name again. He gonna mess it up.
What But I think that's like a surname. You talking about Imhotep? I don't think that's like one person.
Well, hold on. Well, I will say there was a queen in Africa that she ruled in. That was the longest peacetime for the country.
Right, but so I don't know if I would like. Do you think corruption is judged based off of the country was at peace?
See, I think that what you can do is like when you have that kind of power, there will always be a victim. There will always be a victim if that amount. If you have that amount of power,
I'm just saying like just doing something like doing fucked up things in general.
You're saying, is it human? Just
nature to exploit the power that you have.
I'm going to lean closer to. I'm going to lean closer to yes than I am no. But I'd like to believe that
I don't think
it is not. So
what I want to believe is that it's not.
Because you would think,
I don't think it is, because I think there's certain things, but like
what niggas ain't taking advantage of.
What I'm saying, but like how many times do you like not let your intrusive thoughts win? There's just something that keeps that intrusive thought, like those.
But do it ever win?
It wins a lot. There's a lot of times.
So I don't see how that's like a valid like statement to make. Then.
But say people are fighting their like.
I never said that like you're just always going to be like corrupted by power, but it seems that power tends to corrupt. Those intrusive thoughts might land at some point in time.
Okay, well,
you might even be like a great person.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, let me reverse the question then. How many people without power are corrupt? I mean,
that happened all the time too.
So it's not a question of power. It just becomes whether people are corrupt or not. Because if there's people with power that are corrupt,
I think that power gives incentive to be corrupt.
But wouldn't like non-power also give you like incentive to like to break the rules where you can in order to survive? Like poverty, like poverty.
That's fair. I think that non-power also gives you like the ideology of a lot of like things that sound good, i.e. like socialism and shit like that, where that at some point we can all share a community of goods and resources and housing and be equal, and nobody's going to feel a kind of way, and it'd be cool.
So you think that right there is not within human
I don't think that
at all.
It's never actually happened. It's only been a theory. Who was that? Karl Marx.
Marxism, yeah.
It's only been a theory. Anytime that it's been done, it's never worked because the exact same reason ends up being corrupt people that get in power.
But what about?
And that's even like with the idea of being equality.
So the most successful societies have always been capitalistic societies.
Have always history. Been. I think the most recent ones. I don't know what Rome was.
I think that was more of a. I think that was kind of like the beginning of the capitalistic society when you talk about.
I don't know
Rome
what the Mongols was. I
don't know about the Mongols, but I know Rome. They were introducing a lot of like our Western civilization is based off the practices of Rome. So although they had money and they had the entertainment and a lot of the things that we do now, a lot of our society is founded in Roman society. So I think capitalism was a Roman concept also. If I had to, in my estimation, my swag. I learned a new word. That's a swag. Scientifically wild ass guess.
Yeah, you just making shit up.
You hanging with the wrong crowd.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying this is a thought, about. Because about Roman society, and if I had to think, it'd probably be a capitalistic society.
Yeah. But I mean, to the question, I probably lean much more closer to the fact that, like, yeah, any individual with immense power is probably going to, you know what I mean? It's
exploit it at some point.
For sure. Because we aren't perfect, and even in the idea of like hiding the imperfections, when you have the ability just to hide the imperfections and the things that you do
and that's
wrong,
and that's where I gotta concede that at any point, because like you might be good,
right? And I think it comes down to like, can everybody always exist? Resist temptation, because that ends up being what it is.
And no, nobody can do it 100%, unless you like Jesus.
Well, I mean, what would be the temptation?
Be the only man.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's why, bro, I don't trust them people with all of the bread. To me, I think that like, or like the idea of like, who would want to be like the president of the United States? Like, what kind of character trait? Like, what mentally? Like, what kind of mental would want you to quote unquote have that kind of power to make
to
these
be,
kind of
be the leader of the country? I don't think that makes you evil just because you want.
No. It's just the mindset. Like,
I think most people who want to be the president actually are like good people.
But I'm talking about to actually like
now the ones who become president. Now I think that's different. But you want to be president.
Well, I see what you're saying, but like I said, but you also what I was talking about was like the what it takes to do the thing. Like the same thing with the Diddy. In order to become this person, the steps that it takes in order for you to get to this place to have this power. Like you're more than likely done.
The people.
I think it's the people thing. Like
the system.
Some power. There's
some fucked up people.
But what I'm saying is like
system.
even if you look
people
outside
make
of
the system.
Exactly, like even if you look at like whoever's going to be
the system make people. Because I think like we say, the system can corrupt you. You get in there and they give you the keys to these doors. You wouldn't.
And it's your job to either like take it or not.
But the system gives you the power and the ability to open those doors. You weren't opening. You weren't that person that was able to open the doors without the system. Like the system empowers you. So I don't think just because you want to be the president, you're a bad person. Now I think by the time you become the president, you might be a bad person. But I think there's still good people out there, and there's still a way that we could change the system to where it doesn't corrupt people.
But if you notice, the best people that we've seen throughout the history are the people that aren't in power, that don't have that power dynamic
but that
over
might be the problem
the multitudes
with the world. Is the people?
But no, I guess my
the
issue
bad
is
people
that
are in power and the good people aren't.
When those same people that end up like being really heavy on like non, like the not in power but speaking truth to power people,
right?
It just almost seems every time they get power, and it's the same thing with every revolution that also happens. They end up turning evil as soon as they get the power.
Well, that's my whole thing with the movements. I've always said the movements get corrupted.
Trey, I told you that nigga Mike, he just want to see the world burn, my boy.
But no, I think
that's unpacked talk though.
It's that Wednesdays 9:30.
Yeah.
Check us out. I think. Hey, y'all got anything else on that one before we wrap it up? And if not, I'll get into my topic of the week was
what are you promoting right now?
Really nothing. Let me put that down. It was just in my hand. But my topic of the week is self-sabotage, and are we a society that self-sabotages our mental health?
Mm.
I mean, you hear a lot of talk. I mean, we've done weeks and seasons, and we focused in on the mental health a lot. But then when we quit talking about it, I go out and I look at some of the behavior that I see, and a lot of people, especially like I always talk about the internet, but a lot of the clout chasing, the focusing in on the negative, the 24-hour news cycle, a lot of the things that we consider staples of our country, it just kind of leads us down negative rabbit holes and leads us to divide and leads us into, not to bad mental spaces, getting on the internet and, seeing what the next people do. It just leads to self-doubt. You start questioning yourself. And I just wonder, why do we, continue to go down these holes, and when we'll stop. But yeah, I think we do self-sabotage a lot, and I self-sabotage a lot, and I wonder what it is about me and what it is about us that we continue to do that.
I think that, like, the reason you're asking, so why is it that we self-sabotage? I think that that's another one of those human things. It's like that. I don't think there's a person that is like, we can talk like maybe Buddha, the in Buddhism, and what are they, the monks and all of these people that act like they've conquered temptation and all of these things. I don't really see.
You say act like.
Yeah, I don't know these people, so I can't tell you whether you have or not. You know what I mean? At the end of the
Are
day,
you hating on the monks, bro?
I ain't hating on them, bro. I don't know none in real life. I ain't just gonna see you in movies and shit and tell you I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. Yeah. So I ain't gonna sit here and act like I just believe that you've cured yourself or just giving yourself this utmost ability to reframe or to, I guess, not even
like
be
detached. It's like a detachment.
Yeah, detached and not even be be tempted by temptation. Like, that's not a thing in your reality. And I don't know, but I mean, and it may be because I can't fathom it within my own mind. Not saying that they couldn't get there. I just can't fathom it myself. As I know that, like, I am like a person that self-sabotages as well. Like, I have goals day to day. Like oftentimes as I'm reflecting, I'll have the same goal over and over and over. And then even when I decide to break the goal, it pop up in my head that, you're about to break this goal. And then I'll still do it. Like, sometimes I can refrain from doing it, but then it's oftentimes it'll still hit and I still be like, well, I'm going to chalk it this time and then start again.
That thing right there, what is that? Is that laziness? Is that just
it's lack of discipline?
Or okay, but so the lack, you say lack of discipline ends up being self-sabotage as far as like your mental health.
Like, especially if you're, and I guess that's if you're doing it with the conscious mind.
Well, you're sacrificing the short term for the long term.
If you're doing it with the conscious mind and you're making that decision, to me, that's what self-sabotage is. Because if it's more of an unconscious thing, I don't necessarily know if you're like
self-sabotage.
You know what I mean? I think that you're willfully doing it if you're self-sabotaging. Like, it's something that you're choosing while understanding that you have the choice.
I actually believe you can subconsciously be self-sabotaging yourself also. Like, and I mean, I think a little bit more on that, but I know that I've definitely experienced that myself. In like, subconsciously, I didn't realize it, but the decisions I was making was self-sabotage.
I don't know. Can you give me an example, even if you don't want to use a personal example?
Think of something a little bit more like how I can go. Like, it's just instantly when you said that, I'm like, nah, I don't.
Well, no, I know one is like just like smoking and stuff, like over the long term. And it's like a self-sabotage behavior because
you're consciously doing that though.
But you don't look at it as sabotage. You look at it like, oh, I'm just gonna chill and relax. But like long-term effects, you be like, oh shit, where I think that's one of those, like, maybe it's sub.
I think because it's something like smoking. It's like a sabotage on multiple fronts. Because you could be sabotaging yourself financially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so maybe that's not a subconscious one. Then I'm trying to think.
Yeah, if there is like some
subconscious one.
Subconscious. I think like maybe a subconscious one would be like your reaction, your attitude, like your the way that your impulse. You know what I mean? Impulse reaction.
First reaction.
You know what I mean? That could be something that's like a subconscious self-sabotage. Possibly. And I guess it would have to be more of like an emotional impulse thing, because if you have the time to actually think about it, then it's not
self-conscious. It got to be like something
right.
that you not.
It's got to be impulsive, like natural reaction shit. I would assume.
Okay, so I'm kind of thinking of an example here, and this might get kind of complicated because even as I'm thinking of this, it's kind of complicated. But I would say something like being good to people can be like just using this as an example, being good to people, being there for people can be a form of self-sabotage, and it has to do with intention. Like what is your real intention? So you might be a person who is just natural to jump to do stuff for people or be there for people while neglecting yourself, like putting yourself on like your stuff on the back burner. But the reason you're really doing that might be people pleasing, for example. So it's like, even though you think that you're doing this for some good reason, you're really self-sabotaging yourself because your intention has to do with pleasing people.
No, that's it. Yeah.
And the thing, and I guess it would be like the subconscious mind would be in love with the response that you get from doing said thing.
Yeah, the dopamine hit that you get from positive appraisal.
But the whole time you can be looking at it like, yeah, I'll be there for these people, and I'll be there for like I'm always there for people. Like you can be looking at it as a good quality and not even realize that subconsciously you're sabotaging yourself.
No, that's
fair enough. And so I guess I wanted to go back to your question. So what you was talking about on an individual level or like societal, American?
Both. I mean, really, I was actually trying to focus on a societal level.
Okay.
When we talked about like,
and you believe that America on a societal level is self-sabotaging?
Well, yeah, I definitely do. I think like with the if we look at like the news that we consume, the politicians that we vote for, the type of content that the music that we choose to consume, the music that we choose to watch. I think we do a lot of stuff that as a whole is not beneficial to like our mental health or even just like productive,
the money society. We give away to other countries.
Oh, okay.
So, but hold on. It's kind of to me, it still seemed like until you get to like the money we give other countries, it's still more at like an individual level. Where are you getting the social, like the societal level of self-sabotage? I didn't catch that.
I just talked about like voting, like our voting patterns. Like even like black people, and we've talked about what we do with like voting, and we know what these Democrats have not done for us for 60 years. But what a bunch of black people better do in November.
Well, I mean, but you could also kind of logically go down that frame of thinking as well.
You say what?
You could also kind of logically go through that frame of thinking of like, why are black people majority Democrat? You can go back and look at what transpired to like make that be the norm for us. So like, I don't think that like that's
I can, but I could also see how the continuation of that doesn't. And that's just one example.
I mean, let's not. Yeah, we ain't got to jump down.
Yeah, I mean that's just like one specific.
Yeah, and I guess like if I'm trying to still man a piece of your argument, like you're speaking more so like if you compare Asian TikTok to American TikTok, what is allowed to be consumed is this
in America versus
of entertainment that has no actual educational or societal value.
A great example,
and is degrading to like the quality of the morals of the people.
Right.
In comparison to like in over there, like it has to be pretty much educational based to make it.
And the kids can only get on for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, or it's instilling some version of national pride and like all of these things are like.
Well, I mean, but that would also go with the idea of a dictatorship where you can't really have your own free thought. You know what I mean? So like within our system, that is a product of freedom. In the way that we understand is that you will have the ability to go left or right or in between wherever you may lie and kind of consume how you would like to.
Maybe I'm about to start a human nature line of questioning soon. Because I guess it ends up lending more into like some philosophy, I guess, of people. Because what that does lead me to think, because yes, dictator would end up being more constrained, in which it's more rigid and probably more quote unquote educational, better inside the sense of like what
it's all
average
goal
conservative person would look at as like positive for human and people and XYZ.
Yeah.
When left to our own devices, though, it does tend to devolve into a lot of just like low hanging fruit, quick satiable things.
Well, can I add?
And I wonder if that's
can I add my second question? That's a great segue into the second part of my question, which is, do we just love being miserable? Like, are we just okay with the status quo? And are we just like not either willing to put in the work to change it? Do we not think the change is a possible thing? Or but like, what makes us continuously like love miserable when like in the face, like we know what's going on, we know like how serious like the thing is and the games that they're playing, and you know the way the world's acting, we know how serious it is, but it's almost like you're gonna duck and put your head in the hole and act like it just don't exist.
Well, do you think that? And I kind of still wanted to answer the other question, but do you think that most people think that it's miserable, or is that like a person that's pretty much, the concept is ignorance is bliss and knowledge is the burden? The more knowledgeable you are, the more that you're going to think that the world is some shit. But you know how many people are happy just watching Real Housewives and eating their fast food and just, you know what I mean, being able to beat off and just do what they want and like wake up the next day and just do that again.
But
and,
I mean, like,
cool with that.
but is that not willful ignorance at this point? Like,
I didn't say that it's not willful ignorance. I don't know if they're living in misery though. That's what you said, miserable. I think that those people typically, I think, like less educated people a lot of times live way happier lives than like the smarter and more educated people.
I can concede that point. If you don't know no better.
I do want to go back to like your societal question that you asked, where I think a answer to like your question, where why in America does it help to have like people feed into a lot of what was the question? Like a lot of low hanging fruit shit,
like self-sabotage,
in which you identified as more so like just like low hanging fruit behaviors, sexual behaviors that aren't
beneficial.
Right. I think that if we was to just look at like the theory of how to be able to successfully control a country of people, is that you do need a mass body of those people to be fairly controllable, fairly numb, and desensitized, just like regular things, and being able to go with the flow. So having in essence, a dumber mass populace probably is beneficial because it's easier for the ruling class to actually rule and control without having a bunch of uprisings and different things like that. As soon as people get idle time and education, you're going to get uprisings.
That was actually Rockefeller's whole intention with starting that the Board of Education, or like the whole education department. That was his whole intention. Like he wanted to make workers, not thinkers.
Right. Because thinkers, they think they way into a revolution. Mm-hmm. That's Marxism in itself.
No, that's a good answer. What's up, Red? What you got?
I mean, I'm just like kind of wrapping it all up. You know what I mean? It definitely makes sense. The idea that I oftentimes like wonder myself, but I think that we find ways to occupy our minds, and I think that like the conscious mind would probably, for a lot of people, that conscious mind. Well, I don't know if that's an unconscious mind. I would say like more of like the zombie mode, like he was saying, like when you're not paying attention to important things like that, like
sometimes zombie mode be fire.
Yeah, like and the thing is that when I was like in zombie mode, you're so much less critical. You know what I mean? Like once I started really like I didn't start really picking myself apart and like trying to, but I also didn't find who I was and understand myself until you know, then. But at the end of the day, not trying to figure out who you are is definitely much fucking more fun than having to dig and dive into the closet of skeletons and find yourself somewhere in there. I think that is like based in and it's crazy because like I would also go back to like the idea of way it was explained to me like the social construct in Bali. You know what I mean? I went back there and thinking about how she was like how it was explained to me how they had their social society, like their social interaction and the things that they prioritize, and you know what I mean? They prioritize community, and it's like they value interaction. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, is it that it's almost like the gift and the curse, like the commodities, and the more and more we make our lives easier, the more and more we seek things outside of what we naturally. I think seek things outside of what we naturally like. So like the idea of like growing up. Okay, so I say, well, there were some people.
The more discomfort we seek.
Right. The more I think that like comfort is like a thing that comes to the detriment of society. You know what I mean? And so like it makes it so that the more that you indulge in, and I guess like it's like that. Okay, so I'll give it an example. So you know how they say they always believe that as Americans or people, they say that we need work. We need to work.
Idle hands don't do
right. Like so, like if you make it so that we don't have to work, then what would we do? And they're just assuming that like everything goes to shit because we don't have the necessity of work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they think everything goes to shit. So it's like I think it's like the same idea. Like I don't know, man. That's a good question as we're kind of like diving through it to try to figure out like why is it that we like the things that we like? You know what I mean? Why is it and it knowing, even while knowing that this is not the best thing for us, we'll consistently choose that
we know
over and over.
Worth a damn, but like ain't nobody deleted it off their phone, ain't nobody took it off. But
and then I guess it's
we
also
know the version of TikTok we got versus what they got, but we still I done hollered out TikTok every week for the past
tic-tac-toe. Go ahead.
Oh shit, you good? You done?
He raised his hand.
Oh no, I didn't. I was listening. I did I did it. You said TikTok.
Oh yeah. When she did that.
Oh nah, but nah, I appreciate y'all boys for that one because you know shit like that be on my brain sometime, and they ain't I don't think there's no right answer, but I think it's good to put it out there sometime.
Hold on real quick. So maybe it's to deflect from self. So the idea that you look at like even when you see things, what you do, you separate yourself from or you believe that you're separating yourselves from the things that you choose to intake. But what you're doing is like you're literally finding things that are similar to your faults
and justifies them.
And find yourself to be entertained because it's not you, maybe.
Like looking in the mirror but not seeing yourself.
Right. Like it's like they're dealing with the same bullshit, and you know what I mean, and all of these things that I'll be thinking about, and then you kind of, because it's not specifically you, it's entertaining. I don't know, bro. That's a good question, though. It's like a wormhole of thought to try to figure out.
I think you lost there. Y'all really was talking Bible, don't even know it. But yeah, I wasn't about to go there. Yeah, we at the end.
So we could unpack it real quick.
No, we can't.
Well, y'all heard the man. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Please leave a comment below, hit the notification button, subscribe. Please follow us on all socials. It's at D2B Fair Show. It's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, here, real.
It's Q.
And we out.